This next one's an article that someone sent in to me, and I want to share it with you. So they asked me to read it blind, so we're going to try it. This article comes from Mariam Tahiri, and it talks about thinking like a leader, talking like a leader, scripts for 3 conversations that you can't afford to mess up. So this sounds interesting on the face of it because, well, I always say there's 3 conversations you should always have as a leader. So let's see if this aligns. And he goes on to say, or she, when I made the shift to being a founder, I thought the hardest thing would be raising money or getting product out. I was wrong. The hardest thing was being a leader, and not as I imagined. It wasn't just setting a vision or motivating the team, it was making hard choices with incomplete information. It was telling people things that couldn't ruffle feathers. It was choosing honesty over convenience, even when my stomach was turning into knots. That's the uncomfortable part that nobody tells you. Leadership is largely awkward conversations. So I agree with that. Having been a leader and being a CEO of my company, I've had to have my fair share of strange conversations. Sometimes when I know I'm right and I'm being accused of something that I know is incorrect. Other times when, I just had a conversation and I'm like, why did that go that direction? Or, why did it turn that way? So we dodge tough conversations because they feel confrontational. We don't want to hurt feelings, damage relationships, or get it wrong, so we delay. We rewrite the message 5 times. We ask 3 other people what they'd say if they were in my situation. And meanwhile, the issue just grows bigger and bigger and bigger. So we tell ourselves we're being thoughtful, but we're actually being as unclear and just persistently waiting in limbo. And unclear leadership costs you trust, speed, and alignment. Over time, I've learned to stop avoiding and start talking directly, respectfully, and early. Not perfectly, but consistently. These are 3 conversations you can't afford to mess up and know what to say when the time comes. Okay, let's go, right? So I can tell already that this is going to lead in a direction, and I hope it will. So the person who sent me the article said I'd probably like it. So let's see where it goes. Number 1, the hard one, letting someone go without burning down the house. Firing someone is probably one of the most brutal things you'll ever do. You'll feel guilty. You'll want to sugarcoat it, but don't. The goal isn't to try to make yourself feel better about what you're doing. It's to be direct, clear, and respectful. So the person leaves with dignity and the team will trust your leadership. So don't start off with small talk. Hey, Jim, how's it going? That's not going to work. And don't drag it out. Yeah, I was just kind of thinking the other day when we were having just cut to the chase. And don't bring up one incident if there's been a pattern. Don't talk about one thing, right? So what you should say right out of the gate sounds like this. Jim, we've decided to part ways and today will be your last day. I know that's hard to hear. We didn't decide this lightly. It's because of a pattern that we've discussed internally. I appreciate all your hard work and want to make what's next as easy as possible for you. If they're surprised, you can answer with, I hear you. We've spoken a lot about expectations, and I know this might still come as a shock. I'm here to answer questions, but the decision has already been made. Giving feedback that actually lands. Feedback typically doesn't work. I think this might be the second one. Yeah. Okay, so the second one, feedback that actually lands. Feedback typically doesn't work because it's too vague or too late. I once avoided giving it, thinking I was being nice. It turns out I was just being unclear. What I've learned, feedback works best in the moment and never overpraise. Discuss the effect and not the person. So if you're trying to figure out what to say behavioral, hi there, on that client call, you spoke over them a few times. I get that the intent was to help, but it came across as you being impatient. Work on waiting for the entire question. It'll show that we're really listening to their needs. I thought that was great. What to say from a performance? Here we go. Hey, I've noticed you've been missing deadlines, and now it's impacting the rest of the team. I need you to call out blockers earlier to revise your estimates. Can you own that up in the future? Yeah, I think that's good again, right? Or what's say from a leadership perspective? I'd really love to see you step up more as a leader, not just owning your tasks, but unblocking others and helping them make it through. That's the next level conversation for you. I love that. All right, and here's number 3. Talking to someone who has no idea that they're underperforming. Oh boy, I've had this one. This gets managers blindsided. You figure the individual knows they're not doing well, but they don't. Maybe no one's talked to them honestly. Maybe they're making an educated guess about their contribution. Whatever misalignment like that can insidiously develop and hurt team performance and morale. The longer it continues, the harder it'll be to fix. So here's what I've learned. They can't fix what they don't know is broken. Vagueness sounds nice, but it really confuses people. And everyone wants to be successful, but they just need a clear image. So, what to say? Let's have a straightforward conversation about performance. Right now, there's a gap between what needs to be done in your role and what is being done. For example, cite one, two, specific recent examples. I don't mean to be critical, but to get on the same page and support you to where you need to go. I like that. Then give them a chance to respond, and then here's what's good in this role. Let's develop a plan to get you there, and we'll check in with you on a regular basis to make sure we're making milestones. No beating around a bush, no ambiguity, just plain old expectations and mapping. Okay. So you're probably wondering how to get better at hard conversations. One of the things I always recommend is Crucial Conversations. It's a great course if you haven't taken it. As a manager or founder, your real power isn't in your title. It's in your ability to say hard things with clarity and care. The conversations you avoid don't disappear. They just go underground for a moment, and they resurface as confusion, tension, or quiet quits, right? So the good news, you can get better at this. You don't need to become a natural communicator or a tough love robot. You just need to practice being honest, early, clearly, and respectively. Rehearse what you're going to say. Don't script it. Know your key point, then talk like a human. Focus on behavior and impact, not personality. Lead with clarity and with next steps. Ask yourself, what would I say if I were not afraid? Get feedback on how you give feedback. Ask your team what's landing and what's not. Use silence well. Pregnant pauses are great. You don't need to fill every gap. Say the thing, then pause and listen. It works much better. Most importantly, treat these moments as leadership reps. Every time you have one of these conversations with honesty and calm, you're not just solving a problem, you're reinforcing the kind of culture that you want to build, and that's going to help you be successful with Agile. That's going to do it. I hope that you loved this episode as much as I did. This was a great article. So if you have an article you want us to review, if you have a topic you want us to discuss, learn more at AgileDad.com. We would love to hear from you. And as always, we encourage you to stay healthy, stay well, and stay agile, my friends. Until next time, do take care. Bye now.